a scary story about Chernobyl and Chernobyl monsters. Imagine a place frozen in time, where nature has reclaimed abandoned cities, and silence hangs heavy in the air. But what if that silence hides secrets more terrifying than we could ever imagine? From spine-chilling legends to unexplained encounters, we'll explore the scary stories and monstrous tales that have emerged from the shadows of the Chernobyl disaster. The Shadow of Chernobyl. Let's rewind to April 26, 1986. In the early hours, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, unleashing a catastrophe that would change the world forever. The blast sent a massive plume of radioactive material into the atmosphere, creating an invisible storm of deadly particles. Nearby, the city of Pripyat, once bustling with life, continued its routine. Children played, families slept, and workers prepared for the day ahead, oblivious to the danger approaching. It wasn't until hours later that the evacuation order was given. Residents were told they'd be away for just a few days, and to pack lightly. They left everything behind: homes, memories, and a way of life. The exclusion zone was established, spanning 30 kilometers around the reactor, sealing off the area indefinitely. The aftermath left a ghostly landscape, a snapshot of Soviet life frozen in time. Schools with lessons still on the blackboards, amusement parks waiting for visitors who would never come, and personal belongings scattered as if people vanished into thin air. Whispered tales from the exclusion zone. Since the disaster, countless stories have emerged from the depths of the exclusion zone. Those who dare to venture inside speak of strange phenomena that defy explanation. There are reports of lights flickering in the windows of abandoned buildings, shadows moving when no one is there, and inexplicable sounds echoing through empty streets. Locals and illicit explorers known as stalkers share tales of bizarre creatures mutated by the lingering radiation. Sightings of animals with unnatural features, a deer with multiple antlers, birds with 4 wings, and giant catfish lurking in radioactive waters. One prevalent legend is that of the Black Stalker, a humanoid figure shrouded in darkness, said to roam the ruins of Pripyat. Those who have seen it describe a feeling of overwhelming dread and the sensation of being lured deeper into the zone. There are also whispers of the Radiant Children, ghostly apparitions of children playing in the deserted playgrounds, vanishing when approached. Whether myth or reality, these tales contribute to the haunting atmosphere surrounding Chernobyl. Into the heart of darkness. Meet Alex and Sarah, 2 adventurous souls with a passion for urban exploration and uncovering the secrets of abandoned places. Fascinated by the mysteries of Chernobyl, they decided to embark on a journey into the exclusion zone. Armed with cameras, maps, and a healthy dose of skepticism, they planned to document their experience and perhaps debunk some of the local legends. Ignoring warnings and bypassing official checkpoints, they made their way into the forbidden area under the cover of darkness. The thrill of exploration coursed through their veins as they navigated through overgrown roads and derelict buildings. Nature had begun to reclaim the land. Trees sprouted through concrete, and vines wrapped around rusted machinery. As they ventured deeper, the desolation became palpable. The eerie silence was punctuated only by the crunch of debris underfoot and the distant creaking of abandoned structures. Yet an unshakable feeling of being watched began to settle over them. Sarah glanced over her shoulder multiple times, certain she saw movement in the shadows. Alex dismissed it as nerves, but a sense of unease started to creep in. Determined to reach the center of Pripyat, they pressed on, unaware of the true dangers lurking in the depths of the exclusion zone, the silent forest. Leaving the crumbling city behind, Alex and Sarah found themselves at the edge of the Red Forest, a section notorious for its high radiation levels and mutated flora. The trees stood unnaturally still, and the air felt heavy. Even the Geiger counter seemed hesitant to break the silence, its clicks sporadic and faint. Venturing into the forest, they noticed the wildlife, or lack thereof. No birds sang, no insects buzzed. It was as if life had abandoned this place. The trees themselves appeared twisted and deformed, branches contorted in impossible angles. Strange fungi glowed faintly at the bases of trunks, casting an eerie light on the forest floor. Then came the footprints, large, misshapen tracks that didn't match any creature they knew. "What do you think made these?" Sarah whispered. Alex shrugged, but concern flashed across his face. As dusk settled, the forest grew darker, shadows stretching into menacing shapes. They began to hear sounds, a distant rustling, whispers carried on the wind, and soft footsteps that weren't their own. Every so often, a figure would flit between the trees, gone before they could fully register it. Their unease turned to fear as they realized they were not alone in the silent forest. The monstrous revelation. Night enveloped the forest completely, and the faint glow of their flashlights offered little comfort. The whispers grew louder, more distinct, a language they couldn't understand. Suddenly, a chilling howl pierced the silence, freezing them in their tracks. From the darkness, creatures began to emerge. Their forms were humanoid but grotesquely disfigured, limbs elongated, spines twisted, skin pale and stretched tight over sharp bones. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural light, reflecting hunger and malice. Panic surged. "Run!" Alex shouted, grabbing Sarah's hand. They sprinted through the forest, branches clawing at their clothes, the creatures in swift pursuit. The Geiger counter screeched erratically, but radiation was the least of their worries now. The forest seemed alive, deliberately hindering their escape. In their frantic flight, they stumbled upon an old building, a remnant of some long-abandoned facility. They dashed inside, slamming the heavy door behind them. The creatures clawed at the outside, haunting wails echoing through the structure. Trapped but momentarily safe, they searched desperately for another way out. The interior was a maze of rusted machinery and shadowed corridors. Every step echoed, amplifying their fear. Suddenly, the creatures found another entry point, their howls signaling the hunt was back on. Alex and Sarah raced deeper into the labyrinthine halls, hearts pounding. Just when escape seemed impossible, they spotted a ladder leading to the surface. Clambering up, they emerged back into the forest, now eerily quiet. Dawn was breaking, the first light of day chasing away the shadows. The creatures were nowhere in sight. Exhausted and shaken, they didn't wait to question their luck. They made their way toward the perimeter of the exclusion zone, driven by sheer adrenaline and the instinct to survive. Escape and aftermath. Crossing back into sanctioned territory, Alex and Sarah collapsed beside their vehicle, relief washing over them. The nightmare was over, or so they thought. Back home, their story was met with disbelief and skepticism. Friends and authorities alike dismissed their accounts as hallucinations from radiation exposure or stress-induced hysteria. Medical exams revealed elevated radiation levels, but nothing to explain their terrifying experience. The footage from their cameras was corrupted, glitches and static obscuring any evidence of the creatures or the chase. It was as if something didn't want the world to know what lurked in Chernobyl. The ordeal left lasting scars. Nightmares plagued their sleep, visions of glowing eyes and distorted figures haunting their dreams. Everyday sounds triggered flashbacks, the hum of machinery, the rustle of leaves, even silence became unbearable. Determined to find answers, they delved into research about Chernobyl's secret history. They uncovered stories of government experiments, hidden facilities, and others who reported similar encounters. The deeper they dug, the more dangerous it became. Anonymous threats urged them to stop their investigation. It seemed some secrets were meant to stay buried. In the end, they faced a choice: continue seeking the truth at great personal risk, or let the horrors of the exclusion zone remain hidden. The scars of their experience would never fade, but perhaps silence was the only way to find peace. Chernobyl stands as a haunting reminder of a tragedy that reshaped history. The exclusion zone, with its abandoned cities and silent forests, stirs our deepest fears and curiosities. Whether the monsters of Alex and Sarah's story are real or manifestations of their minds, the zone remains shrouded in mystery. Perhaps it's a testament to the unforeseen consequences of our actions, or maybe there are truly things that exist beyond our understanding. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey into the heart of Chernobyl.